Thank you for joining us for this second webinar in a series for Pure Chain and Sprockets. I'm Courtney Sturgeon, a former broadcast journalist and brand storyteller. Happy to tell the stories here of Pure Chain and Sprockets. And joining me today, we have co-board presidents, Danny and Glenn Spungen, as well as of this January 2025, new president, Drew Beadle. So thank you for joining us today. And Drew, we'd like to start off. We've got only 45 minutes. We want to get to know as much as possible about you. Could you please start us out with what everyone here at Pure Chain hands to their customers, the Who Am I card? Let's see yours.
All right, Courtney, great. The first thing we do with our customers when we meet them is we show them our business card upside down so they can see our Who Am I card. I don't want to spoil all the fun in my card, but two of the highlights I'll bring out is the first one being Sunbelt Slippery. Many years ago, I actually bought a quarter of a standard bred harness racing horse. Sunbelt Slippery was her name, so she had to make my card. And then the other one, 11-11, I had the opportunity to go see the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series when they won their 11th title in 2011.
Wow, that's impressive. Now, I want everyone to know, too, anyone who's joining us, you are able to ask Drew, anyone here today, questions in our chat. So we encourage you to put in your questions, tell us where you're joining from, and at the end of the session, we'll be answering those. But in the meantime,
they can also
we're going to get to more
racing tips.
That'll come much later, but yes, no guarantees there.
And I should know, on the Who Am I card, we put on the bottom left their birthday when they join the company.
Oh.
So it's a little chain side plate with a little milk bottle top. And you were born when?
Oh gosh, April of 2018?
19.
2019.
April.
2019. It's just gone so fast.
I think April 9th, right? April 9th. Yeah. Okay, go for
All
it.
right. Well, let's get down to it, Drew. Tell us a little bit more about your background, where you're from, and your experience.
All right. So I grew up in a small town in Iowa, right outside of Iowa City. My mom was a nurse. She actually worked for the University of Iowa for 40 years. I looked that up. She retired after 40 years of service. My dad was a plumber. After being a kid, I went to school for the University of Iowa for mechanical engineering. It was a no-brainer growing up that close to the hospital and the school system. After school, I actually joined a manufacturing company that made bucket elevators, bulk material handling equipment as a design engineer, and had the ability to work with their production staff, worked quite a bit with sales, and handled the occasional quality issue when they popped up. Would go out on the site and help the customer understand what had happened, what had been going wrong, and kind of write the corrective action plan on how we would overcome it and get their plant or facility back up and running. Then after that, I kind of was ready for a bit of a change. I had a lot of friends in the Chicago area, and I had spent a lot of weekend trips, and that's where I kind of started to really look around the Chicago area for what would be the next opportunity for me.
I'm sorry, did you say you were ready for a bit of a change or chains? Because once you got to Chicago, that's how you got connected with Pure?
Yeah, so when I started looking in the area, I had known Glenn kind of, I guess, really throughout my career. Actually, really, when I kind of first joined the industry, one of the things I remember most was, I think, when I first met Jeremy, the Who Am I experience, the handing the business card upside down, being able to connect on more than just a business, like transactional level. I know Jeremy, I think we spent probably quite some time talking about cars and his connections to Mustangs, which was definitely a passion of my dad's and growing up. So,
and you can see his Who Am I card right on the deal on the screen there.
Yeah.
But didn't we plant seeds in you? Weren't you like introduced to chain with your father?
Yeah, so my dad being a plumber and owning and operating his own business, I've spent many weekends and afternoons on the job site with him, and I always played with his tool stand. So he had a tool vise that had a little piece of wrench chain. So I remember always putting things in the vise and tightening it down. And how else do you, as a small child, pass time on a job site, right? So I think definitely had some experience with wrench chain and that nature.
That was a seed now.
So that sounds nice, but how did you get your foot in the door here?
So really, I think it was through Glenn. I reached out to him and just talking about opportunities in the area and what kind of type of businesses or places that might be hiring somebody with my skill set. I really think that's where you kind of took me under your wing, and I think we did some sales analysis type courses, and then that's where this opportunity kind of arose.
And Glenn, Danny, I'd like to pose this to you. What was it about Drew that you saw in him? He's really pure. He is the embodiment of pure here.
Well, why don't you throw up that graph? We have a whole team behind here that's helping us. Put up that little graph this is a little, what we call a disc profile. And when we saw this graph, we're looking for someone that really can be, really some stability in a family business, because Glenn and I, we're two different people, and it's great. And then we looked at his graph, and you might want to comment on that little graph there.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm not real. I remember doing this test. It's funny, and we were talking about it early before the call. And I actually, when I look at it more and more, talk about it, I'm going to call this the middle child graph, Danny. And why do I call it the middle child graph? I have an older sister and a younger sister, and through the years of being the middle child, there's a little bit of conflict between my sisters. I wouldn't say they got along perfect, but always being that mediator, finding the middle ground. I'd say it probably pretty resonates with where that's at. Like a good story of growing up, as a middle child, you always want to get your way right. Well, TVs, as kids, we always wanted a TV in our room. My sisters, they could never agree on it. They could never even get along. So how could you put a TV in the oldest child's room when the youngest isn't allowed, vice versa? Well, here I come along, Mom, Dad, this is great. They don't get along, but I'll welcome them into my room anytime they want, right? So here I was, probably 10, 12 years, had cable TV in my room where my sisters were. So I call it the middle child.
Well, I think what's pretty interesting is that Drew wasn't sure if he wanted to go into product management or sales. So when you end up taking this type of profile, it kind of analyzes your temperament, and his temperament was totally towards product management, and his background is engineering. He had the industry knowledge, the leadership skills. So basically, at the end of the day, Drew checked off all the boxes, and that's what leads us here today.
And really carved out your own role to your expertise and experience.
Right. So yeah, definitely started in the product management department, was really able to work with that team and grow to more of the operational aspect, which I had a lot of experience that helped out for my previous employer, and just slowly climbed the ranks within the company.
I want him to take that test again. It's not really a test. It's a profile. It's not a pass or fail. It just tells you where you fit in the organization. Everybody should take this. And it's a lot of fun. But I really think he's changed, but you'll go through that later in your presentation here.
And that's good to know, too, where you fit in such a diverse organization as well. But we'll get there. I want to take us back a little bit to your first few days here in April of 2019.
Yes.
Isn't that right? What that was like for you.
Yeah, so I was quite surprised. I knew what I signed up for. Probably wasn't 100% sure, but it was really cool to see walking through the warehouse and seeing just the equipment, all the condensed storage, and how the whole operation was ran. It's kind of a breath of fresh air just to see an organization that really had that continuous improvement mindset on how do we continually get better. Every day we just want to get a little bit better, and then at the end, over time, it'll really pay off. So it's cool. I was very the organization was a lot bigger than I expected, right? There's a lot more technology and a lot more Pierre was using than I really thought. I'm not saying I thought we were operating in a garage, but it was very surprised by the warehouse thing and everything going on here.
Right, and really you saw pre-pandemic, so a few months later, you saw how well those operations then were able to adjust.
Yeah, that's right. It was 2019 on April, so I had went on a lot of sales calls, was able to see the pre-pandemic lifestyle, and was able to go over and visit our factories in China and see other operations and how they work. And of course, when I came back, that's when we went right into a lockdown mode, and it definitely changed the landscape of how we do business and how we interact, going from that very physical in front of a customer's face, explaining what we're doing, to Zoom meetings and emails and, all the uncertainty.
But
that
Drew,
came with COVID.
going back to April, your first days, what caught you off guard when you walked in the building and you came in your first day? There are a couple things that I think caught you off guard.
Yeah, being greeted by dogs, that definitely surprised me.
Was a Great Dane here at that time?
No, not yet.
Not yet. And then, what about you? What about me? You said something about me.
Yeah,
What about this guy?
Yeah, Danny, definitely an oddball. I was definitely surprised a bit by Danny. Caught me a little bit. I knew Glenn, and I knew his operational excellence and the way he thought about sales in the organization. And then here comes this wild card Danny, like with dogs and,
Didn't they call your mother the first day? Did I do
I'll
that
tell you,
right? Yeah.
one of my favorite stories here. We don't have much time, but Drew's first day, I called him into my office at 4:00, and I said, Drew, give me your mother's cell phone number. He thought I was nuts. I called his mother, and I go, Mrs. Beadle, this is Glenn Spungen, the president of Pure Chain. And her first words were, it's his first day. How did he screw up? That was his first day. And I said, no. I go, Mrs. Beadle, I'm here to apologize. And she goes, for what? I go, I apologize for stealing Drew from you. We're going to take good care of him over at Pure Chain. And then basically I went on through the conversation. I said, one thing we're also going to do, we're going to convert him to be from a St. Louis Cardinals fan to a Cubs fan.
Throw in that photo, Jay.
And Drew said, absolutely not. That will never happen. And his mother said that will never happen. Right after the phone call, I had a Cubs World Championship sign in my office. Drew held it up, took the photo, and then I sent the photo to his mother. And I said, within 30 seconds, already converted.
And I want you to know, Glenn just found that photo.
Oh,
and originally we were going to say, let's remake that photo. And he said, no.
Absolutely not.
What? We didn't keep you as a Cubs fan?
No.
Oh.
Don't do it again.
How about a Chicago Sox fan? Come on. It's something.
So the viewers can see a very rare 2019 vintage photo of Drew's only time wearing or sporting a Wrigley Field Cubs
And
signage.
how were relations with your family after that?
Oh, it's
No longer a
well,
thing.
actually, it's my mom and dad are really the passionate Cardinals fan. One of my brother-in-laws is a Sox fan, and my other brother-in-law is a die-hard Cubs fan. So I'm sure Nate will appreciate that photo. But it's not. I like the other teams. It's just baseball. All right, baseball. I like my Cardinals.
We got to work harder on converting you. That's for sure. Well, tell us a little bit more about what was unexpected here in terms of, the operations, the inventory here, anything that you hadn't seen before.
Yeah, a lot of it too was the quality testing and the quality mindset. Walking through our lab ran by Avila Marquez, seeing the length measurement for our chains, the wear life testing, the capability to take a chain in and do wear life testing, how it will perform in a real environment, being able to do fatigue life testing and then tensile testing. So the quality mindset, which really a company that's been in business for 55 years, it's a checkbox you gotta have. So seeing that and having that assurance was really a good surprise when I walked in the door.
Was there anything that you thought, oh, this could get a little interesting, haven't seen this before, or maybe we do things differently here, anything like that?
Yeah, Danny, that's the
Wait a minute, how about inventory? Were you scared that we didn't have any inventory, that you saw no inventory or something?
I came from a business that believed in inventory, so it wasn't a huge surprise, but like seeing all the racks, seeing the dedication, seeing the commitment to it, it was, it makes it easier to do business when you have it on the shelf.
But now you have over $20 million in inventory.
That's right.
So that's a large amount.
And now that you're president, many presidents worry about too much inventory and cash flow and bringing down the inventory. You don't have that.
No. We've got a great support by the board of directors and the family, and our inventory is here for a reason. It's an investment in our customers, and we want to make sure that they have exactly what they need when they need it.
And you have a great CFO behind you.
That's true.
So you need a great CFO, and that you got. We do love inventory.
Yes, we do.
Okay, good.
Is that part of your belief, your philosophy on how to run things? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the sales cycle is a little bit long, and even the manufacturing process. And our customers in a day and age, talk about Amazon. We want it now, right? When you click the buy, you put it in your cart, you expect it on your doorstep tomorrow, and that's something that we're going to continue to deliver and be able to support. Of understanding what the market needs are, making sure it's stocked here in Waukegan, so when somebody wants it, we can ship it out just in time.
And is that the same in line with what's been done here before? You mentioned Danny was kind of the outlier for you.
Yeah.
Or how would that compare?
I think I'm really following through. I guess what Glenn started, your family started, but continuing the tradition of Glenn of one, inventory being an aspect, but there's a whole other aspect of doing business, and it's really the customer relations. We don't want to be seen as just a transactional company. We're here to build relations. We're here to support our customers. We're here to understand their needs and listen to them. And part of that means inventory and stocking and being ahead of it, knowing the sales cycle, or even not even just the sales cycle, but the economy cycle. If farmers require X piece of product in the fall, well, we need to build up and have that inventory ready for them so that when there is a breakdown, when there is an emergency, we have it on our shelf and are able to deliver.
As we say, creating memories with the customer.
And it's a very unique customer experience here. I'm sure many have experienced the customer card. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that fits right into your philosophy and everything you told us about that?
Right, and it's a lot of, again, as Glenn just said, creating memories. Another thing that we started, and it's a great opportunity, Danny, to challenge you.
Oh, right. Are you going to challenge me?
Yeah, right on camera.
Oh, no.
So hold on a second.
Another thing
This
that
was
we've
not
done,
rehearsed, so here we go.
Yeah,
Oh,
challenge.
thank
Oh.
God.
Oh, my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah. I'm lucky today.
You are lucky.
I had a long morning today.
So hoping I can catch you off guard. But again, just doing things that customers, how do we get our customers to think about us when we're not in the room, right?
And this is a challenge coin,
Well,
so
what
this
we're
is,
trying to
you
do.
might, you can
Yeah.
explain what this means.
Oh, you do a much better job of explaining the challenge. Go ahead.
Well, it started with what our vice president, Chuck Breer, 35 years in the military as a colonel, and every single military unit has a challenge coin, and we made a coin with everyone's name on it. And it stuck. The Who Am I card and the challenge coin it's defining us. And as Glenn said, as I always say, as a collector of people, things, and notes, is that we want to create memories. And he's fallen into that. He's fallen into this rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I know his drive is much different than when he started.
Was there a customer card experience, a unique experience that you could tell us about? Something that they wrote down that they liked and you wanted to make it a fun experience for them?
A customer experience. Oh, so we've part of our journey when we do our customers is when we have people coming in and visit. Again, to make the memories, we want to be different. So we have a card we send our customers to fill out before they come to visit, so we know a little bit about them. So we've done some things where we had in our conference room, we had a lady come in and we set up a table full of nuts, right? So we had all 8 different types of nuts that they could sample. We had a little competition to see whose was a favorite. And the other good one that we did along those lines was the hamburger challenge. We had another gentleman who came in here and said he flew in and he really liked hamburgers. So we went around Chicago. So we went around to all the local shops and had a hamburger tasting to decide.
We had delivered and we had cut in half, and they got to try 3 different hamburgers from 3 different places, and they had a lot of fun. But the lady who wanted nuts, she filled out the form. We said, what kind of snacks do you want? And she said she likes nuts. We went crazy with nuts, a very important customer. We found out later, well, she didn't really care about nuts. She just said she put on something. We were nuts over nuts.
We also had a customer that was really into bowling. Actually, an excellent bowler, and we actually had a bowling team. Bought jerseys, that type of thing. And we wore it here while the customer was here. So a lot of people would walk around with bowling shirts.
So a customer can put down what they want and you deliver?
We deliver.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm going to fill one out. Put down cars, luxury cars,
Yes.
diamonds.
Yeah.
I expect to have a conference room full of diamonds.
Well, we're a small family business, so we're gonna have to get plastic diamonds, but we can deliver on that.
Right, ethically sourced. I'll take it.
No, but it's so true. Creating memories, because when people think about chain sprockets, yeah, we want them to have fun, but it's a serious product, and we are very serious, but we want them really to have a good experience with us.
It's quite a family friend atmosphere here too.
Absolutely.
Part of that customer experience as well.
Right, and not only do our customers, it's also our people, our employees. It takes an army to deliver for everyone, and it's important that we support our employees too, and not only listen to our customers, but also our employees, how they feel and what needs they need to be effective and efficient at the job.
Yeah, speaking of that efficiency, how do you look at the process and say, especially coming in new, this is how we're going to improve things. This is where we don't need to improve. We're very efficient and unique in this way.
Right. So a lot of what I try and do is it's feedback. It's getting feedback from our customers, feedback from our factories, feedback from even our employees, and analyzing all of that and trying to see where we can find the improvements. So I'd love to sit in a room and I think of all the ideas, but it's not. It's collecting all the inputs, it's analyzing, and then making good business decisions based on that information.
Excellent. So we touched on this a little bit before about coming into a very fun, unique culture. Certainly Danny and Glenn bring their own flavor to everything. Can you tell us again just some of the different themes that you really embraced and other ones that you'd like to bring to the table or already have?
Yeah, so I think as far as Danny and Glenn, I'd say just how I operate, I'd say about 75% of what I do lines really well with Glenn we talked about operations, driving efficiency, sales cycle, a lot of that. I'm pretty well aligned with Glenn in that standpoint. And then I'd say about 25% with Danny. So Danny's helping bring out my crazy bone, if you will, and that drives into the themes with trade shows, dressing up in costumes. That goes into the memories of COVID when right after the lockdown, we were an essential business. We were still open and in operation, and while we sent a lot of our office staff home, there was a support staff here for the warehouse, and you could just tell morale was low. Everyone was so uncertain. So that's one of the things that we did was we kind of had some themed Fridays. And while with a good theme, I also enjoy a good prank. So that's where after our third or fourth theme, I think it could have been shorter than that, we all in the office had this great idea that, Danny having his dress attire, but always wearing a tie, we wanted to catch Danny off guard. So everyone in the office told Danny that on Friday our theme would be safari. Dress as if you're going to a safari, which I will admit, I didn't know of the peer-bearing history for trade shows and safaris, so Danny definitely delivered on that. And behind the scenes, we all had a black tie affair. So we all came to work in that Friday wearing suits and ties, and here's Danny.
Tie, formal.
Here's Danny, no tie,
Safari hat.
running around with a safari hat.
It's a jungle out there, buy our chain sprockets.
So we like to have fun.
Okay, but maybe not carrying all of that over, right? You certainly have a different philosophy, and it's very interesting to see the respect for tradition here, while also bringing something new to the table as well.
That's right.
What are you most looking forward to in the future?
I enjoy our customers. I enjoy our employees. I enjoy listening to them, collecting their feedback. How can we improve? That's really what I'm setting for, the mission of the company or vision of the company, and it's continuing what they've already started is really being that customer-centric power transmission company. And continuing while we have our inventory, there's customers have breakdowns or uncertainties, and part of our challenge, and the comment I make all the time, Danny's getting bored of hearing me say, is we can make anything in 18 to 22 weeks, right? Well, our customers can't always wait that long. So how can we do things faster? How can we use our local resources or invest in the capital equipment to do machining or welding operations so that our customers don't have to wait that long? That's really what I'd like to do as the president's company and to shorten our lead times and be able to deliver more for our customers.
So again, another popular theme in all our meetings is speed to market. How can we always improve the speed to market? As Drew mentioned before, you have the Amazon experience. How can we transpose that to peer chain?
Great. Great to hear. I'm sure people appreciate that as well, and would love to know, you love the feedback, as you mentioned before. How can people reach out if they do have that feedback?
Yeah, so certainly through our sales team. The sales team is very important. We're always in constant contact with them. Also our customer service team, it's one of the things that we're doing. We're documenting every complaint that comes in and categorizing it. So when our management reviews come up, we have all that data and we can track trends and see where we need to make a correction or really acknowledge a team for what they're doing well. So that's we're always just reaching out to a peer employee and sharing. It will trickle up to the top.
It'll make its way up the chain,
That's
as we
right.
say here.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be sure that we leave enough time for questions from the audience. I know we do have some in the chat here, so I will go ahead and bring some of these up. Here we have from Brett, if you had to describe Pure's company culture in just 3 words, what would that be?
Ooh, 3 words. Fun. I definitely, want people to come to work and have fun, but that we are serious. That's a kind of a 3rd word. Gosh.
There's so much. We covered
So
so much about
so much.
starting with fun and.
Well, talk about, we do have the core values and you're switching it down to 3.
Yeah, I could go. Yeah, thank you, Danny. So I got to go back to my core values of just being loyalty, integrity, and passion. That's a good. Thank you, Danny. That was a good save.
That's great. See,
Well,
teamwork,
we
an
had
example of the
6, right?
teamwork
We had
here,
6.
yeah.
And then what is
Yeah.
wow? What does wow mean when we have
Right.
wow deliver? What does that mean?
Yeah, and that's another thing of working with our customers. We want to, after you've had an experience with peer, whether it be buying, a quoting, or just a customer visit, we want to leave you with wow. Like that. The company's doing it right. They're answering my questions. They're delivering on their promises. That's another key thing. If we're saying we're going to do something in 4 weeks or 12 weeks, we want to deliver in 4 weeks or 12 weeks. We don't want to always be picking up the phone and go, hey, yeah, it's going to be another 3 weeks here. We don't want uncertainty in our supply chain and as we deal with our customers.
Got it. Well, thank you for that question and answer. Well, we have another one here from Ryan. Drew, who is your favorite Disney character? That's
Whoa.
wow. Of all the questions, that's the big one today.
I
Is that a trick
think,
question?
Yeah.
Gosh, I gotta think of the Disney characters. I mean, growing up, Batman was my favorite superhero, but I don't think he's Disney. I think he's
It's
Universal.
not. Yeah.
So the Disney, I like Mickey Mouse. There's nothing wrong with Mickey Mouse.
Glad you have one.
The original.
It's a very safe answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Glad you have one.
You're probably Mickey Mouse. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just,
the guy who mine is
Yeah.
Donald Duck's uncle.
Oh.
The crazy uncle.
I
Yeah.
I don't know all the characters.
Actually, another good one. I think they shut down the ride, but the Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
ride back in the United Kingdom and the
Yeah, but what's the
15 years
character?
ago. Oh, it was just the experience.
So that's actually a question. I don't know why they pronounce it.
I like it though. It's part of the fun culture here, asking that. We have one from Elizabeth. What's Drew's most excited, or what are you most excited about for Pure in 2025 specifically?
Just continuing to grow out our team, continuing to research and develop new processes of internal, how we can, again, deliver on that, making things faster. We have a vast inventory. How can we take product in our inventory and remanipulate it out so that we're not delivering a quote with, well, there will be 150, 200 foot minimum order quantity and it'll be 18 to 22 weeks. So I'm really excited for shrinking lead times, customizing parts, and getting product out the door faster.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but maybe the welded steel chain.
Right. Welded steel is another great opportunity for us.
All right, we have another one from Brad. Can you tell us about the engineering aspects of the company?
Yeah, a great question. So we have Eric Ma, our engineering manager, who's been with Pier for 8+ years, maybe even longer than that. More year, who's a very metallurgical background. He knows the metals, which really worked well when I joined the team of the mechanical aspect. I'm more of a mechanical applications type engineer, and that's one of the things where we're, with my movement from that department, we have a young kid, Lawrence, coming up through the ranks who's going to be able to help deliver on the applications and the drawing review and all those processes. And that'll be another part as we continue to grow out, operations here. We're going to have the engineering team to support and deliver on that.
As I weed through these questions, because we have many for you, do you have any questions for the audience? Maybe we'll get some answers.
Oh, man.
I'm putting you on the spot, but we've got so many people tuning in. I love, the thought process here. We've got many to choose from, so I'm just trying to get through. This one from Michelle: how important is Pure's resilience to your customers' level of resilience?
I think by studying our inventory, it really answers the questions of resiliency. Through when I go back and look at COVID, one of the biggest impacts to our industry as a whole was the supply chain crunch. There were maybe 2 or 3 customers over the whole 2-year period of container issues, plant shutdowns, just all of the lockdowns. I think we really only had to make 2 tough calls of, wow, not going to get your product, just too many unforeseen delays. So I think that speaks volumes on our resiliency, on our strategy, on our manufacturing techniques of how we bring product over and we release it just in time because of our warehousing, that our customers can sleep at night. And that's what we're constantly, our sales staff is constantly trying to do with our state-of-the-art ERP system. If you can help us give your information, your production schedules, we can load it into our system and help plan so that you don't experience disruptions.
Were you able to sleep those nights, those 2 times, as you mentioned, which for that time, a lot of tough calls were being made, like you said, just the 2 that you had to make.
Yeah.
How do you sit with that?
There were, for the most part, I have no problem sleeping. But there was one particular new customer we onboarded where I think we had at one point weekly phone calls or check-in with the production facilities over in Taiwan to make sure, product is on schedule. We got a plan for a shutdown. We got a plan for a container being held up on port for 3 weeks. We've got to hit this deadline. So we did a lot of work when a critical part was identified, that we were able to push it through all the channels so that when a delay hit, our customers didn't even notice it.
Just I'm going to say something real quick and put you on the spot here. But when you first arrived, you kind of thought Pure Chain was really focusing on roller chain. And then once you've been here for 5 years, now you know that it's not just roller chain, that it's really a lot of engineering chain. You may want to say something about that.
And not only chain, sprockets. I think Pure is very well known for chain, roller chain specifically, but there's a lot of other product that we stock in our warehouse, or opportunities that we have to help customers out, not with roller chain or ANSI standard sprockets, but with engineering class chains, engineering class sprockets, and now adding the capabilities to be able to manipulate those. There's a lot of opportunities for us to help out our customers that they're not necessarily aware of.
So Courtney, any more fun questions?
Yes, and that was actually a great segue into.
I want to get to the good stuff.
Yeah, that was a great segue into this question from Chuck. What is your favorite kind of chain?
My favorite kind of chain. Ooh, I like it. It's when I can see a chain in a way or an application that I didn't even think of it being used. There's a particular exercise equipment that I didn't have one, but I'd been using it at the gym, kind of a rowing type machine. That was a pretty cool chain to see, and we're, oh wow, that's actually Pure, our product. So that was kind of one of the cool chains to see in action. Anytime I can see something that I didn't expect it.
That's interesting. Okay, because you will see Pure chains someplace like the gym, for
right.
sure.
Yeah, who knew you could go to the gym and see your product?
But that's very cool when you do. This question's actually for Danny and Glenn from Ryan. Do you have any advice for Drew?
Well, when I talk to Drew, my concern is how do we live in the physical world knowing that we must invest so much money in the e-universe? So I want to stay grounded. I want to represent us on the ground, but I know that Drew has to invest a ton of money into this e-universe. That's what I talk to Drew about mostly. That's me.
And for me, it's more stay focused, but enjoy the job and have fun. Because at the end of the day, you want to have fun out there. You want to make the customers happy, and he's well on that path.
But we just talked about it yesterday. Are you surprised how much time you're spending on non-sales
Yeah,
and HR issues?
totally. I thought you learn as you go, but I thought more being able to choose what I focus my time on. But yes, it's.
And every department wants money.
Surprise.
Every department, everybody needs more money.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
always the challenge of being the president.
I think it's less. I think the bigger problem is the allocation of time because you're spending so much so much time on what we call HR issues or like when an employee gets sick, we jump in.
Right, absolutely. Supporting our employees, and I think that's a lot of it too, is helping the team kind of write the guidebook of help them understand how I make decisions so that when I do spend time with them, it can be quicker or more efficient. Instead of us sitting down and thinking of the whole policy, well, we already have a policy. Let's define how we make all the decisions behind the scenes, because it's tough to write a policy that has every situation covered. So that's where working together. So as a team, building the team, working on our decision-making processes and matrices. So when we do make decisions and work together, it's no surprises.
And based on your 1 month, do you feel confident that you can control and tame Danny until Danny to follow the guidelines that you're going to put in place? You can do it?
Our relationship is continually growing, Danny. I don't think anyone can tame you, so I don't want that job.
No, I'm going to do it.
So the answer is no.
Okay, we've got that on record now.
I'm surprised.
We'll go back to
I'm
that.
happy to surprise you.
But no, we're definitely working better together and having fun and getting the team focused.
Glenn and I are taking Drew around the country meeting customers, and those are like last week's trip, for example. That doesn't happen every day.
Right.
They're good things, but still. What kind of questions you got?
That's great. Well, we do have questions. We've got some here from Chris, and he's asking, are you planning on welding steel capabilities training? And then I have a follow-up question for you.
Yeah, well, yes, training is also something very important, not only for our internal employees, our field sales team, and as well as working out to our customers. If we can deploy training to customers, it's one more way to enable them to think about peer when we're not in the room. So yeah, that'll be as we continue to expand our capabilities, we need to be able to share and tell people our story and what we're doing. So that'll be a very important aspect of the training piece and how we deliver.
And the follow-up question to that is, how can we get a meeting planned at the plant when the Atlanta Braves are in Chicago?
Oh, we just got to look at the schedule and I'll pick a date out. I mean, I'd rather meet you in St. Louis, but I guess if we got to go to Wrigleyville, I'll twist my arm.
Let's see here. So many questions. I appreciate everyone's participation today. I think, Drew, so many people are, saying hi from all over. Anyone you want to say hi to?
Everybody's important. I got no favorites out there.
I think we covered almost all the questions. Is there anything else you'd like people to know about Peer or your time here?
Well, just again, our goal here is to really continue to be a customer-centric power transmission company, and we're always thinking about how we can deliver wow, bring that wow experience in, and we're excited for the future. We're excited to continue to grow and face the growing pains ahead of us, and just for our customers, know that the entire Peer family is here to support you and your business and operations.
Great to hear. I know you touched on this a little bit, and with just a few minutes remaining, any plans for expansion of any of the products?
Yeah, so like I said, what we're really focusing on now is how to take what we have and being able to customize. And that goes with the welded steel, with the, the sprockets. One of the things that we did was invested in a boring machine so we can take sprockets from a smaller bore size and enlarge them, or take something we didn't have in stock, or take something we had in stock and make it into something we didn't have. So that's been a lot, and I think that will really be able to help meet all our customers' needs. When we look at the company, you're not going to come here and choose us as your total solutions provider. We can only offer 80%. We got to be able to fill up your whole market basket, and that's really what the big push is for this year.
Great. Well, thank you, Drew. Danny, Glenn, anything that you feel really represents Drew being here as the president of Pure?
Well, Drew is our 5th non-Spungen president in 56 years. That's pretty amazing. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be an ambassador and to watch the next generation take over. I think that's what we need to do. I think we're doing it. I think it's a big move for us, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging again with this physical world versus the e-world, but I'm excited.
I think I'm more excited that Drew agrees with me 75% of the time and has my values. So with that, I'm thrilled about the company going forward.
Best of both worlds there,
Yes,
huh?
best of both worlds.
All right, well, I want to thank you all for being here today, for answering our questions from customers and everyone joining today. Thank you for writing in. Of course, there are other ways to get in touch with Drew and the team here at Pure Chain and Sprockets, social media, of course, and as you mentioned, Drew, also through your sales representatives. That's a great way to get in touch and highly encouraged, right?
And
that's
we
part
have
of
two
the
more
fun.
webinars coming up, right?
We do have 2 more webinars in this series. You can always look back at the other webinars. They'll be posted on the website and elsewhere. Great resource if you'd like to know more about Pure Chain and Sprockets. At the last webinar, we talked so much about how we got started here. Danny, Glenn, you gave a lot of company history, family history, which really encompasses, I think, all of Pure, that family vibe, really.
So the next webinar will be Drew with his management team, his leadership team. And then the 4th one will be about the trade issues. I think that's something we never talked about. I saw a lot of questions come in about they want us to comment on trade issues and trade wars. We didn't want to go down that path today. That's something we need to see what happens in 30, 60 days. You're going to be ready? Or how are you handling that?
Oh, well, we have no choice. We have to be ready.
We're well diversified, not an issue.
Yeah.
But Drew, we saw questions coming on that, but you will have a separate webinar just about how we're dealing with trade in general, whether it is a trade war or not. How are we staying diversified?
We're saving that for next time. Great tease, Danny. Drew, you'll be here with us talking about that, and really anything else that people write in about or contact us, we'll be addressing that. So again, we'd just like to thank everyone for joining us. Any last words from the team here?
You go.
Oh, last words. Just thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited to help the company grow and help support our customers and our employees, and that should be a fun 2025 ahead of us in the future.
Mention the cousins. You do talk to Charles and Jeffrey regularly. They're part of the game plan, so that's all good.
Yeah, it's very important to have inputs from all levels. Obviously, the support of you and Glenn, as well as Jeffrey and Charles. It's important to hear their input and guidance. There's sometimes where I need their assistance too, so it takes everyone.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank all of you too. We'll see you at the next webinar.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.